crafty friends, how's everyone doing today? Welcome to my channel, Turquoise Dreaming. This is Sheree, and I'm here with a quick video today. Let me tell you what I was doing. So I have had this journal sitting on my table here for a few days, and in my mind, I was thinking it was done. But sometimes I'll do that. I'll let it sit and just make sure I didn't forget anything. And, in those few days, maybe I'll come up with an idea or something new I even want to try, or just think of something in my craft room that I would like to put in here that know I didn't put in there. So anyway, it was sitting here and I was coming in here and looking at it, as far as just not opening it up, but just looking at the cover. And I like old books and I like the original wear and tear and charm of that. But I was looking at this and I kind of thought to myself, it's kind of, I love it the way it is. I would love it if it was my journal the way it is. But I just thought it's kind of dark. I thought, sometimes it'll help me if I take a picture of it. And I think in the other videos that I have where I worked on this, I thought it's kind of dark. If you look at the thumbnail or whatever, even the pictures on my camera, I just thought it's kind of dark, as far as just not dark bad, but dark color. So it says Baptist hymnal right here, and it has a harp. I love the original, but I thought it could be better. It could be better. So I was all ready to go. You see I have my closure and everything here, but then I started playing around. I thought, I think in my other videos I said, as I was working on it, it kind of took on a slightly shabby chic look, as far as like this flowered paper, and I put these pretty laces on the pages. So definitely, I think, a slight shabby chic look. So I said, well, the outside, besides the tassel, doesn't, except unless you look at the side, it doesn't really give you that shabby chic vibe. So I thought, well, what can I do to the outside to maybe make it more shabby chic on the outside? So I've already done a lot of the work here, so it's just going to be a matter of putting it together. But I took a hymnal, since this is a hymnal, I took a hymn book page and I cut it down. I actually used my ruler to tear. This is my only tear ruler, in case you're new. It's my regular ruler. It's not a tear ruler. But I never really felt the need for a tear ruler because I don't like the edges that rough. But I do like the torn edge. So I did tear around this, and I tore all the white space off. And I inked around it. And I kind of played around. Should I just put this down here and leave the Baptist hymnal part? And I played around with it. And in the end, this is what I came up with. So once I, cut this down with my ruler, tore it down with my ruler, I inked around the edges. So I have this for here. And then I played around with just having that, and then have another layer here. And I'll show you the other layer in a second. But then I decided I wanted to go ahead and cover the whole front with music. So I'm going to put this piece down here. And this is another hymn book page that I haven't inked around yet. So I tore this one also. The edges are torn. I don't know if you can tell, but they're not straight. It's like cut with, like a paper cutter would look, or a scissors. So then the same thing I did with this one, I just went around the edges with my vintage photo, distress ink. And I want to go all around this one too. I think that will be for this journal. This is a vintage style journal also, along with the shabby chic, elements that it took on as I was working on it. I didn't plan shabby chic, it just happened. That just happens sometimes, right? Takes on a look that maybe you didn't plan, but when you pull out your papers and put them together, sometimes it happens. So anyway, I was going to put this down here. So we're going to glue this down in a second. And then my next layer, I thought, with the flowers here, and the second signature also has flowers right here. I thought, well, I think I need a flower on the front. And these are kind of like, I don't know what kind of flowers these are. They're kind of rose looking. I don't think they're roses, but they're kind of rose looking. They might be camellias or something. But anyway, there's my coverage for the front. I'm going to glue that down. And then I started looking through my flower. This is a flower book I presently or currently or recently have used, and I've shown it to you. This I found at a thrift store, and it has these big, I couldn't believe it because I think the front cover, if you see a book, it's a lot of times it pays to pick it up and look at the inside pages. It probably had like flowers, a plain cover with the word, some kind of flowers or something on the front, the word. It was so plain on the outside, you would never know though that it had these beautiful pages on the inside. So it pays to pick a book up even if it looks plain on the outside, and just see what's on the inside. Sometimes it's just the opposite. It has a beautiful floral cover, and then you look inside and it's just very plain pages. So you never know. Can't judge a book by its cover. That's what they say. So anyway, I cut out this geranium, and this is going to be on the front cover. And the reason I went ahead and covered up the top is because if I use this, I kind of experimented, and I was going to go something like this. But see, it covers up that Baptist hymnal part anyway, this big flower. It's a geranium, if you couldn't tell. But it covers up that anyway, so that's when I was like, well, let me see. Since it covers that up anyway, because I thought, well, maybe I'll put the music with just some little flowers down here. And I kind of tried that a little bit, and it didn't have the same impact at all. It looked okay, but it didn't look beautiful like this. So this is what we're going to do. These leaves stick out a little bit, so after I glue it down, I'm going to cut the leaves off that stick over, and the flower fits perfectly on here, so I don't have to cut the length at all. But I did fussy cut this out with my scissors. Yesterday morning before work, I was just having this idea, and I was like in here cutting away. So I was like, I only have a few minutes, but maybe I can cut this flower out. And so I did, and I finished it this morning. I cut it all out, except I didn't cut out these little fine pieces in here, because I kind of like wanted to leave those. I was like, oh, that's, a little bit too, fussy for me. Even though I don't mind fussy cutting it all, I really didn't want to cut those out. But I knew when I did that it would look. You'd see the music through there. I thought that would be just beautiful, and I think it is beautiful. So anyway, we need to glue this down and see what it looks like. And in the next video, should be the flip through of this. So let me get my glue. I want this nice and sturdy. It's going to be on the cover where someone's grabbing it. No, and not being rough with it or anything, but just touching it. So I want it to be nice and sturdy. So I'm going to use my, I think art glitter glue would probably work fine too. But I just, since I have some of this Fabri-Tac, I'm going to use that. And if you're doing something like this, if you're worried about it, you could put Mod Podge over the top of it. I would use matte Mod Podge over the top of it, or a spray sealer, which is not as thick, but you still have that kind of security of having a seal over your whatever you're putting on the front. I have some. I might spray it on here. I'll decide after I see how I feel about this. I'm going to put it pretty much up the top, but leave a little border there. And of course, there's a little border around the edges so you see the original color. But I thought this was just perfect for a hymn book cover to put a actual, vintage. I have these in my closet ready to go for pages or whatever I need them for in my crafting. So, so I pulled a couple out. I have some that are like 2 pages together, and I have a few that are 1 page together. So I pulled out the 1 pages so I could use those, and save the 2 pages for pages in journals. Okay, a little bit more glue on this one. And I know this is not the same size as the one in the top, but I don't think it matters because it's going to be covered up with the leaves type of thing. If your leaves weren't quite as big, and if your flower, if you're doing something like this or whatever you're putting on top is smaller, or you know, the whole thing is smaller, or it's less wide and not covering up the whole bottom practically, I would have looked for a piece that would have been, or made this one the same size as the one on the top, but in this case it doesn't matter. So so this is how I'm doing it. Try to leave the same amount of space on the top and bottom here and here. So yep, there we go. That's my second. I have the other piece here to put in my scraps. So I'll use that later. Just so you know, I didn't waste it. It was a whole page. Okay, so all my edges are down. This is going to be covered up anyway, pretty much. So all my edges are tight. So now the flower. So let's put some glue on here. And yeah, I thought you might enjoy this, the difference, especially, and if you were to buy this journal, you might enjoy, I think people see, if they want a journal, they might enjoy seeing it being made, at least, at least whatever we can show on video. And then also see the transformation of this front cover, because like I said, I was ready to go with the, sorry, I'm just concentrating on my glue here. I was ready to go with the flip through, but then I just kind of had this idea, and that's what happens. A lot of times it won't be a major idea, like this is a major change, I would say, in the look of the journal. But where am I? I'm trying to see where my holes are. A lot of times it'll be like if I'm leaving it sit for a few days before I do the flip through, and even it happens after too, and I'll still add things. I've said that before. I'll still, if it hasn't gone out the door yet to someone, and I've already done the flip through, and it's not sold yet, and I'll have an idea like, oh shoot, why didn't I put whatever in there, and I'll go ahead and get it out and put it in there, because it's like I really wanted to put that in there and I totally forgot about it, and I'll just go ahead and get it out and put it in there. So sometimes there may be a little something different than a flip through, as far as just putting something in there, like say a postcard. So I was thinking I wanted to put a postcard in there, and I didn't. Oh my goodness, how could I forget that? I really wanted to put a vintage, like it's a vintage journal, and I have a lot of vintage postcards or whatever it is, anything like that, and I really wanted to put one in there, and I forgot. Then I'll go and get it, put it in there. Okay, so let me get all the edges and all the little pieces. Yeah, I enjoyed cutting this out, and then I enjoying the result of it. There's some little pieces in here I didn't cut out. I said no. I am not cutting this out. These were bigger pieces, so those were okay. I could handle that, but the other little pieces. I wanted to leave it in there for stability. You know what I mean? Because if I were to cut those out, it would make it very, like this right here is very thin. I was worried. I was like, I know I'm going to cut this. I'm just going to have to glue it back together if I cut it, in two, but I didn't. Thank goodness. But I thought for sure, because I was kind of rushing a little bit, because like I said, I only had a few minutes before I had to get ready to work, and when I thought of cutting this out, and I was like, oh, surely I'm going to cut this in two, but I didn't. I did not. So, all right, I think we got it glued down, so let's cut our extra off. You won't miss it. I think I'll actually cut on this side so I can see. So let's do that. Let's see, I used these are my old scissors, but I did use these to cut that yesterday, and in the little parts I used that I had trouble getting those, like if you're fussy cutting and you're trying to use big scissors, and sometimes those big scissors just don't you know, fit into little pieces, little parts that you're trying to cut out. So I use these. These are scissors from Dollar Tree. And I use these to cut out the fine points. Well, I don't know. I don't want to cut it crooked. So I think I'm going to cut it on this side. I feel like I'm going to cut it crooked. I wonder if I should use my, hold on. I did use also to cut out those little middle pieces, you know, that were in between the leaves. I used my, let's see, where is it? It's right here. Just use my regular X-Acto knife to cut those pieces out. So let me I use this mat from Dollar Tree to cut on. Okay, yeah, I think this will be better. Yep. I think it will. Yeah, I feel better about this. Can you see okay over here? Right here is where I'm cutting. Yeah, I'm just cutting right along. I can see the cover here and cut right along the cover. Let's see, is it loose yet? I feel like it's loose, but it's not loose. There it is. It's coming. I just don't want to mess up anything or move anything because I just glued it down, but you know, Fabri-Tac grabs right away. So there's one piece. Let's see. That's how it looks. I'll put a little, definitely put a little bit of distress ink there on that part I cut off. That looks beautiful. You probably can't see the difference on camera of what I'm doing right now, but it makes it blend in with the cover. And it didn't really have a white edge, but it still made it blend in a little bit better. And now I need to cut out this side. This side's going to be a little difficult, possibly. This leaf's okay. It's just this leaf right here. So let's see how we can do that. Oh, this one I can reach with the scissors good. Okay. See, I can reach right here and cut a straight line. There we go. Yep, that looks perfect. I love it. I hope you do too. Let me put a little ink on that one. That did have a little white edge there. As I turned it, I could see it. Maybe that one did too. I just didn't turn it this much, I don't think. Did I? I don't think I did. I didn't notice the white edges as much as I noticed it over here. Okay, now let me see. There's like a divot here where this spine is, like where the fold is. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue. I think, let's see. I think I'm going to need, I'm pushing it down into the fold there. I just don't want that to catch on anything and like get torn or anything. So I'm going to push it down into the fold. Just doing it with my fingernail, as you can see. And then I don't think I'm going to be able to fit my Fabri-Tac under there without kind of getting it everywhere. You know how Fabri-Tac is. It's bulky. It's a bulky glue. It's thicker. So I'm just going to poke my art glitter glue up under there. There's not really anything to poke under actually either, but I'm going to do it anyway just to make sure this is solid. And this will dry clear and not shiny, so if there's any glue on the outside of this, it won't show. Okay, I think we're good there. Got it up under there. And so again, I'm going to just press that down into that glue. You can see the glue there. I kind of actually almost like Mod Podged it over the edge here too. So it's under and over. And now I need to let that alone and let it dry before I mess it up, because it's wet on that edge on the top and bottom, like if you were to wet it. So it could easily kind of tear something. Okay, I think I'm going to call it done now. I think it's done. Or should I let this another 3 days? See if I have any more ideas. It's kind of, actually, Don't be surprised, because I'm having another idea right now. Let me get my pen in here. Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of having another idea. So this is the other flower that I kind of looked at. What is that? Oh, this is a geranium too. This is another flower I looked at, but see how it's not as full down here? And I probably would have cut this off and just had this part here. But I like this one, how it fills out the whole cover. And I love geraniums. And I thought maybe, you know, if I love geraniums, that you would too. But now I'm thinking I need a flower on the back. So I could cut out this little flower and just make it a little decoration on the back. I think that would be pretty. So I'm not going to do that on camera. I'm going to do it and you'll see. It'll be a little surprise. You can see how it looks. Well, it won't be a surprise, but you'll see how it looks. I can picture it. I hope you can too. So I'm going to fussy cut this out now. Oh, what am I getting myself into? There's little middle parts there. I don't know about that. We'll see what I do there. But anyway, I think this would be beautiful if you turn it over and you see that beautiful flower here, kind of like a label or something, or like branding on the back of this. So, yep, that'll be, you'll see that in the flip through. So stay tuned for that in my next video. I hope you enjoyed today, and I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you then.